welcome to episode 317 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play the game of Magic. Whether you're sitting at home and jamming some Arena, you're around a table at your local game store with a couple of friends, you're heading on down to F&M, or, you're buckling up for a Grand Prix.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And on today's show, we are getting ready for Mythic Championship Cleveland, the first ever Mythic Championship. It's just a Pro Tour, everybody. Don't freak out.
That's right. It's as though it simply changed its name,
yes.
Which is actually all that it did.
It also added a Grand Prix onto itself.
Oh, that's right.
Like a little barnacle attached to a giant ship.
Oh, or like a whale.
In a cute way, everybody.
Not a whale attached to a ship, a barnacle.
That would be really cute,
Can you imagine if there was a giant whale that was also like those, like the sucker fish on the side of aquarium?
It just sucked itself onto ships?
But it was whale sized.
Ooh, spooky.
That is kind of spooky, right?
I like it. It makes me think of the sea whales from Doctor Who.
Sea whales?
Or space whales is what I mean.
I was going to say, Maria, I'm pretty sure they're all sea whales.
Space whales. Anyway, yeah, we're getting ready for the Pro Tour / Mythic Championship, whatever the heck you want to call it, on this week's episode by giving you a preview of everything that's going to go down. We're going to talk about draft. We're going to talk about standard. We're going to play fantasy draft. We're going to with the players, that is.
Yes.
And the cards that are going to be in the tournament.
Yes.
And we're going to talk to somebody who's actually going to go there and play.
Who's that?
That's Amateur Pro Greg.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me on.
You're back on the show. You've been on a few times.
I am back. This is my third pre-Pro Tour episode because it's my third time going to the Pro Tour.
Oh, congratulations.
Which is shocking and unbelievable.
It's not really that unbelievable. You're good at Magic.
Wow.
You
thanks.
practice a lot.
Wow. I do my best.
But before we start our show and get into all of that, by the way, we're going to talk about War of the Spark too, because that trailer was something else.
That one is exciting.
We're going to tell you, thank you, everybody, for being a supporter of the show on patreon.com/GLHFMagic. This is Pro Tour Pledge Drive, Patreon Pledge Drive month here at GLH5.
That's right. That has a couple of different things that go along with it. First off, you can give us a call at 612-FOSSILS.
This is a real thing, by the way.
Fossils with a Z.
People think we're kidding. We're not kidding.
FOSSILZ, 612-FOSSILS, and leave us a message like this one right here.
Hi, Megan, Maria. My name is Audrey. I've been a supporter of the podcast for a couple years at this point, and I'm just calling for a couple of reasons. First of all, I would like to be your friends because you're both so cool, and I really, really love your podcast and everything you do. And all I want is to meet you at a GP, and I haven't had a chance yet, so please keep going to GPs. Or maybe I'll just come to Minnesota and, knock on your office. I won't do that. That's weird. Second thing is, I used to be a squirrel patron, and now I'm just doing $1 a month because I recently started going to grad school. And even though I couldn't do the $5 a month, it's still so important that I still support the podcast because I really do love everything you do. So, if I'm in grad school and I can do $1 a month, there's probably a lot of listeners out there who can do a lot more. So I really hope more people support you because I'd love to just continue seeing what you bring to the Magic community. So hope you can get lots of people to high five you. Have a great day.
Wow, what a great message.
That's so nice.
So nice.
So if you want to give us a call, we love hearing from people. It's one of my favorite parts of Pledge Drive month.
Oh, absolutely.
This month we also have an exclusive offer. If you become a patron or you up your pledge amount, then you will get a special pair of Megan and Maria tokens.
They're double-sided.
They are super cute. We love them.
Yeah, they're great.
We're so happy with them. And we just got an email from Card Kingdom today who's helping us with the printing process that they are printed.
They're being printed.
They are printed. They will be in Seattle in just a couple of days, and then they'll be here with us and on their way to you.
So we've mentioned on a past couple of episodes that we could really use your financial help in this time. So becoming a patron right now means so much to us. So thank you to everybody who's joined the family. And if you're even considering it at the 1% level, perhaps you should go for it.
Yeah.
And speaking of Card Kingdom, big shout out to them for being the sponsor of the show. They're awesome. CardKingdom.com/GLHF. Use that link for anything you want to buy from the store. Yeah. Anything at all.
Anything
Dice,
at all.
Cards, singles, boxes, sleeves, deck boxes, other boxes.
Just boxes.
Just boxes in general.
Boxes with games inside them that aren't Magic, because that's a thing that they have.
They have all of that.
Yeah, they do.
They're so great, and they just had a little video released for Valentine's Day talking about why all the creators that they sponsor love Magic. Check that out if you haven't. We retweeted it. We do make a cameo. I will say that. But it just goes to show that they're helping support the community by supporting all of these awesome creators, us included. And so, like, let's go out and show them some love too. So head over to cardking.com/GLHF if you need anything in your magical life. By the way, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GLHF Board Games, dropped a new review today. Boing.
Yoing, yoing, yoing.
Cosmic Run. Thank you for that sound effect, Megan.
Yeah, no problem.
That's definitely what it sounds like when we drop board game
Yoing,
reviews.
yoing, 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 yoing. If you've ever, just like fumbled a little bit with a board game and it's hit the floor, you know that that's
what it
the
sounds
sound
like.
that it makes.
Yeah. It's a super cool channel. New reviews every single week. We've got some hot new games coming out in the next few weeks.
That's right. Next week is the expansion for Railroad Rivals.
Ooh, nice.
And the following week, we do a little bit of a playthrough of Wingspan.
So good.
Which is gorgeous and a ton of fun.
Yeah. So if you're not following that board games channel, get on over there and hit the sub button. You don't want to miss those reviews. I think they're really great.
Yeah. I know that we're telling you about a lot of stuff right now, but also if you haven't seen it, last week we posted, against anyone's better judgment probably, a video of us doing a Ravnica Allegiance box opening.
This is the best video on the internet. No hyperbole here. No bully.
That
this
is a statement.
Amazing. I was sitting at my desk at work and I was just losing it watching it. And all my office mates turned to me and like, Greg, what are you doing? And I had to confess that I wasn't doing work because I just couldn't stop laughing.
In the past.
It's a long video and it doesn't get old.
In the past, we've
Got old
eaten
for
hot
me.
chips as part of our box openings, but this month, some idiot was like, what if we used marshmallows? And we just had to put them in our mouths while we opened the box.
It sounds great. It's better than it sounds.
Oh, boy.
Thanks,
Oh,
Greg.
man.
As an experience, it was.
It was terrible.
It was honestly something I'll never be able to forget.
Hey, if you want to watch us in object terror and horror and being tortured by marshmallows.
Did you just say object?
Yeah, because it's not abject terror, because it's object terror, because we're afraid of an object, the object being the marshmallow.
Object terror is my new favorite phrase.
Just go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/goodluckhighfive.
Just hearing object terror.
All right, let's kick things off with our predictions and first thoughts from seeing the War of the Spark preview trailer.
Oh, that's right. In case you haven't seen it yet, it pans around this tower with 36, I believe is the number, stained glass windows featuring all of the planeswalkers that we know. And then we go inside and there's a giant candle chandelier.
Chandelier, if you will.
Which is not safe. I just want to put that out there. Not safe for your home. But very cool in the video, and the candles one by one go out till there's just one remaining.
Oh, and the smoke rising from the last candle is the horns of Nicol Bolas.
So, Greg, what do you think?
I just want to say that I think this trailer is beautiful. I think it's one of the best trailers that they've ever made. I think it's not, some of them are so cheesy,
Yeah.
no offense, but as someone who like knows what's going on pretty well, there's like this kind of like weird card animation that looks a little off with like a weird voiceover of like, the Gruul are the guild that attack everything. And you're like, okay. But like, this was like eerie and cryptic and like simultaneously told me nothing about the set, but got me incredibly hyped about the set. I am so excited to play it. I don't normally care about the story, but I'm really curious to see what actually happens.
Wow.
And so this trailer really did it for me. I saw some people criticizing it online, and I have no idea what they were thinking about, because I think this trailer was beautiful and the best trailer they've ever done.
Maria,
Yeah,
thoughts?
I have the exact same thoughts as Greg. I thought it was wonderfully done in the past. Yeah, I felt like the trailers were a little bit on the budget side. Well, like maybe they weren't cheap, but they came across a little bit that way, I think, a little bit campy. if you will. This was wonderful. It looked like it could have been for a film like the next Harry Potter movie, something like that. The beautiful
Harry
stained
Potter
glass.
and the War of the Spike.
I mean, seriously, it looked like we were going into Hogwarts.
It did.
But the stained glass planeswalkers on the windows, really hyped. We've talked a little bit about like, oh, maybe this set will have more planeswalkers than usual. Maybe there'll be a planeswalker in every pack is a prediction we threw out there. That was like a lower power level. Maybe we'll see that art on the cards. That's my big fingers crossed.
Yeah, so I saw a thing that someone asked Mark Rosewater about this, and he said that the stained glass art is from the set, but it got like stained glassified. So in the set, it doesn't appear like stained glass art.
Drat.
Which is really sad. I think a masterpiece series of the stained glass art would have been beautiful and amazing. But it sounds like that's not happening. But it does sound like all that art is from the set. I think a lot of people are thinking there might be 30 plus planeswalkers in the set. I am skeptical of this.
What a design challenge.
I mean, seriously.
Mark Rosewater always talks about how the design space for planeswalkers is so limited, which is one of the reasons they only do 2 to 3 per set, because they like can only do so much cool stuff on planeswalkers. If they were to have to make 30 plus planeswalkers for this set,
but what would that mean? Say you had to do that. What would that mean?
That's true. Restrictions do breed creativity, as he likes to say. They'd probably have to make some sweet planeswalkers, maybe some at rare, maybe even some at uncommon.
And he has said on his blog before that a downshift in rarity for planeswalkers is not an if, but a when.
That is a good point. He has said that. So I don't know. And I could see it going either way. I could see them happening. I could see them not happening. Like all the planeswalkers, that is. I could see them as legendary creatures because they lost their spark.
I was going to say, that's my prediction, is that we're going to see some iconic planeswalkers who travel to Ravnica to try and help with whatever is going on or fight on either side and then lose their sparks and we see them as creatures.
I think the idea is that they're getting drawn to Ravnica. That's why they're
They just
all
get
there.
pulled there.
He has some sort of vacuum.
A
Like,
magnet.
A magical vacuum.
Yeah, I
The
think
whatchamacallit that Tezzeret made.
the planar bridge.
The thing that
The
almost...
planar bridge.
Well,
yes.
isn't the point of the planar bridge that it can bring all the Amonkhet zombies to the plane?
But what if it also helps? Or the Immortal Sun?
The Immortal Sun is what traps
Yeah.
them there. See, it's like, this is... I think they've done a good job
Yeah.
setting this up. The
We're talking about the story now.
Yeah, the other thing about the trailer that I liked is it felt full of Easter eggs. Like, it felt like I didn't get everything, but once I know the War and the Spark like what happens, I'll go back and watch the trailer and be like, oh, like, this was referencing this. Like, it was a little, like, cryptic and mysterious. And
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't fully figured it out.
Meghan, let's talk a little bit more about the candelier and the one flame
Yes.
left at the end. What does this mean to you?
Okay, so we've speculated that it means that there will only be one planeswalker
Nicol Bolas,
left.
yeah.
You believe it is Nicol Bolas.
I do.
You think that he is going
notably-
to snuff out everyone else's sparks.
Notably, there's one candle in the middle that's like bigger than all the rest.
Exactly, and
that
that's
is
not the one.
that survives.
See, I agree with Greg because as I
okay.
was watching them all go out, I was waiting for it to be that big one in the center that stayed, but that one got snuffed out too.
Okay, well, if they're all snuffed and one is left, who's the unsnuffed?
Ooh, wow! Isn't it just the question?
This is the question.
the question.
Jace, probably, right?
Ugh.
It's got to be Jace.
I'm sorry, but it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why does it have to be?
He's the Mickey Mouse of magic. He's the main character.
He can go.
He has more plot armor than any other character.
I think that everyone who follows anything Disney would agree with me here. Mickey Mouse can die.
Wow.
Hot take.
Okay, I think so. One big question for me coming into War of the Spark is Nicol Bolas gonna win or is Nicol Bolas gonna lose?
That's the really big
Because
question.
if he loses, it's like, okay, there have been like 4 blocks of lead up towards this battle. All of Ixalan, all of Amonkhet, all of Kaladesh was building up towards this battle. And now, like, for him to come and the Gatewatch to just be like, we're the Gatewatch, oh, you lose, would be really disappointing, in my opinion. If Nicol Bolas wins...
That's sweet, I think.
That would be really sweet, but what would it mean for Magic going forward?
It would
If
mean there's
all
no
of
more
our
planeswalkers.
All of our beloved characters and our favorite card type of planeswalker, or many people's favorite card type, is trapped on Ravnica. So, like, that's maybe bad. So what if maybe, like, one person, say Jace, escapes?
Here's my thought. Okay.
Go.
One, I was thinking about one of like the philosophical questions that this trailer made me think of is like, where do sparks come from?
Yeah.
Right? Because
we don't know that, right?
I mean, they've taught, like, we get the stories of how sparks are ignited under great pressure.
Yeah.
When
Much
things
like
happen.
a diamond.
Exactly. Sparks are the diamonds of minerals. Anyways, diamonds are the planeswalker
right.
sparks of minerals. Okay, moving on. But still, we don't really know, where does it come from? Is it something that is always in a person and is waiting to ignite, and like everyone has one, and some people will just never ignite? Is it that only some people have them? Is it something that like maybe they came into contact with something at some point and that's how they got it?
Isn't this what like original Mirrodin was about? Because there was that goblin Slowbad who like gained a spark for like 30 seconds. They like tried to create an artificial, like Memnarch, big bad Memnarch, like tried to create an artificial spark and like put it in Slowbad, and he was a planeswalker for like 30 seconds. And then I actually don't know what ended up happening.
Yeah.
But I think they like tried to make an artificial spark and it didn't work out.
Exactly.
Because-
Like alchemy.
But that
Yeah.
doesn't answer where it comes from.
I think you're just born with it.
I think it's like the
Maybe.
midi-chlorians.
Wow.
Oh, we're going down a deep, dark rabbit hole here.
Okay, but
With a bad movie at the end.
but I was thinking about how you all remember when Chandra killed 2 of the 3 Titans back in Battle for Zendikar.
Yep.
Yes.
And she did that by channeling like other planeswalkers' mana, right? So part of me is thinking about, we look at War of the Spark and that sounds like other like planeswalkers are getting theirs snuffed out. But what if what happens is that a bunch of planeswalkers sacrifice their sparks so that one other planeswalker has the ability to fight Nicol Bolas?
Wow.
Ooh, that's a great thought.
And as cool as it would be to be someone we knew, what if it was someone random?
Yes.
What if it was like Arlen Cord?
I would
and like
love if it was Arlen
shows up
Cord.
and they're like, Arlen Cord, I know we haven't seen you for 4 years, but you're our only hope.
Arlen
And
Cord,
everyone
you are the
channels
new
together.
Mickey
You're the
Mouse
new
of
Jace.
magic.
You're the new Jace. Here's your crown.
I would love it if Arlen Cord
I
was
think
the
that
new
would be
Jace.
very cool, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. But I do think it would be cool.
Here's my question.
Team Arlen.
Can we get Elspeth back? Can Elspeth
What if it was Elspeth?
undie to
Elspeth
get
would be great.
to get back
Maybe
to Ravnica?
everyone loses their spark, and then Elspeth back on Theros somehow comes back from the underworld, and she's the only planeswalker who can save the day.
I would love that.
I would
So then
love
she
that.
somehow learns about this, travels to Ravnica, and has to single-handedly free all the planeswalkers and take down Nicol Bolas.
Wow.
But they all lose or sacrifice their sparks in the process. So next set that comes out, the only planeswalker that exists is Elspeth. And like, we just have to play normal old school versions of Magic.
But also, if we're talking about where sparks come from, I mean, if planeswalker sparks are getting extinguished, is it extinguishing the source of all sparks, or is it just the sparks that have been ignited up until now, and we will get more sparks in the future?
Yeah, unknown, I think about that.
There's a lot of questions, a lot of speculation out there.
Yes.
You should, if you have a planeswalker that you want to take down Nicol Bolas in the end, to be the one survivor, you can tweet at GLHF Magic, hashtag team whatever your planeswalker is.
I love it.
So we can
Yes.
get some hashtag team Arlen, hashtag team Elspeth, hashtag team Tybalt.
Okay, everyone pick your hashtag team right now, each of us.
Wow, we've got there's
Hashtag Team
36.
Tybalt. Hot take, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of heat for that. Who's
Appropriate.
My favorite planeswalker has always been Elspeth, and this story
love
that
Elspeth.
we
She's
told
great.
of Elspeth coming back and winning
Yeah.
the day just like filled me with so much hope. And so I am going to be on hashtag Team Elspeth. I think it's a stretch, but I love the narrative we just spun.
I
Yeah.
think no matter what, that narrative is going to be the best thing that comes out of this. This one we just made up.
Yes. Maria.
Liliana is my favorite planeswalker. I love her backstory, and I love her deal with selling her soul essentially to try and to all of these demons and trying to fight her way through that. And she just wanted to save her brother, and in fact, she just doomed him. I think that's pretty cool. However, I don't think she'll be chosen.
I don't know. She's gotten a lot of character development in the story recently, and
Yeah.
they put a lot of effort into her character. So we could see that pay off. And she's been like switching sides a bunch. So it'd be interesting if like she was the one left and she had to pick her side at the end of the day.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I do love her, and I feel that she has so much good in her that is kind of glossed over in the story because the reason for her, turn or whatever was from a good reason.
Yeah.
And for trying to save her brother's life. So I would love to see her come back over into kind of being, you know, good again. That's never going to happen. Anyway, I'll be hashtag Team Liliana.
And we know Megan's on Team Jace, so
So just pack it in. Just pack it in.
I'm sorry for what I said about Mickey Mouse earlier, everyone. I just want to go back and apologize for that. Anyways, I do love blue. So I'm going to be hashtag, here's my deep cut.
Ooh, deep cut.
Team Tamio.
I love
Tamio.
it. I love
Hashtag Team Tamio. She's so good. She's just a little researcher.
Yeah.
Doing her good research.
Yeah.
You know?
I would
like
also
Tamio.
love to watch that.
Yeah.
Also, before we end this Planeswalker conversation,
Yeah.
the elephant in the room, how weird would like limited be? If there were just a million Planeswalkers all around.
It would be
be
so
so
weird.
What an
strange.
odd set.
And
like,
it would
think
not
about
be a good introductory
be
set.
very weird.
You would not want to start playing Magic during that
No.
set.
Yeah, and
No.
usually, like, don't they make a lot of money off people being like, I really want a Planeswalker. I'm going to open packs until I get one.
And then you
Yeah.
just get some
And you just, like,
underpowered rare
easily get
planeswalker.
one, like-
I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be so weird. The board states would be super confusing. That's why I don't think that it's going to happen. But
I like what we landed on of us seeing legendary creatures
Yeah, I
that
like
were
that
once
too.
Planeswalkers.
that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone was saying there could be, like, they could undo the flip cards. It used to be legendary creatures that flip into Planeswalkers, but now they could be Planeswalkers who lose their spark
And
and
flip.
flip into legendary creatures.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah,
I like that.
the Garrick Once Upon a Time that was a flip card planeswalker on both sides, and it was once his loyalty went below a certain level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I think we've solved it, everyone.
Yeah, we've definitely solved it. I'm super excited to see what
Hashtag
happens.
Team Tybalts.
By the way, speaking of this, I just really quickly want to get your thoughts, Greg, on a pre-release Grand Prix for Mythic Championship London.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard, they've announced that for Mythic Championship London, it's going to be a pre-release Grand Prix, which has a lot of connotations, and I've seen some people frustrated about it. But I have to say, as someone who my two favorite tournaments are limited Grand Prix and pre-releases, I am beyond excited for Mythic Championship
It's like
London.
your birthday.
It's exactly. And like I'm not queued for the Mythic Championship there, but all of my close friends are. So I was already thinking of going so I could just be there with my friends and play in the GP. But now it's a cool, unique GP that puts together two things that I love. I am so excited to go to London, even if I don't end up qualifying for the Pro Tour.
Yeah, just
Nice.
sitting down, pre-release, crack the packs. What are you going to get?
Yeah, who knows? And like, if you make the top 8 draft, that's going to be the weirdest draft ever.
That's
'Cause
true.
You know, it has such huge stakes, and no one's ever drafted it before. What?
Very cool.
What? You will be able to draft it for a couple of days on Arena.
That's true.
So you'll have that.
You will have maybe some arena drafting.
They did say it will come out 2 days before the pre-release, the same
Wow.
as this last set did.
And if you didn't know that news, you must not be listening to The Upkeep.
That's right.
Which is Good Luck High Five's hot news show that comes out every Monday. 10 minutes or less. We give you all the MTG news you need to know. And there's even now an Alexa skill for
Yes.
it. Thanks to a really wonderful listener who went out of their way to make it. You can add it, and it will be part of your morning update every morning.
Pretty cool.
Not every morning, but when there's a new one.
When there's a new one.
every morning,
Every
it'll
day.
just play you the same 10 minutes.
Only on the Mondays, everyone. Or excuse me, it'll be Tuesday morning, so
Yeah.
only when there's a new one when you ask for your morning flash briefing. Guess what? It's time to say thank you to Ultra Pro for being an awesome sponsor of our Ultra show.
That's right. I'm sitting here with the Alcove Tower, which is a deck box that they offer. This one has like this cool corkboard finish on it.
It's really neat.
And the way this one opens is it's like a full... all the way.
all
Look
the
at
way.
This. Look at this.
It opens all the way to reveal a
And it
secret
has a
dice hole.
Secret compartment.
That's
You can show them the
right.
secret compartment.
3 sides of it unfold, and then there's like a little hidden dice drawer. Plus this great, like, I love how there's an easy way to grab your deck out of here. It'll fit up to 100 double sleeved cards.
Nice.
Which is just incredible. More cards than we can reasonably shuffle, Maria and I.
Yes, that is accurate. This is why we don't play
We've
Commander.
talked about it before, about why we do not always play Commander. It is because the shuffling is difficult, but it is not difficult for this deck box to
No,
handle it.
no.
And this is only one of the many cool things we have. We can't stop talking about that guild art sleeves.
they're so beautiful.
They're incredible. They just look so good. I love playing with them. Anytime I see, like, I'll be playing with my own guild sleeves, and I'll see someone else across from me with a different set
you're
of
like,
guild sleeves.
ooh.
I'm like, I'm jealous
You're
in that
that
moment.
meme. You're that meme. You're that guy.
Which guy?
Whose girlfriend is like, what? And then he's looking at the other girl. That's what it is. That's
I am that meme. But they're both just guild sleeves.
Yeah.
They're both just different guild sleeves.
On YouTube, somebody asked us, do you have a recommendation for a good playmat to use for my elves deck? And I found a beautiful forest playmat on Ultra Pro's website. So you can just go in there and type in whatever kind of deck you have. They're going to have a playmat for it. ultrapro.com and cardkingdom.com/GLHF also stocks a lot of their stuff too.
I'm going to go make that meme now, though. It's just, it's me. And it's going to be like my guild sleeves and your guild sleeves.
What do you think about guild sleeve honesty? Like if I'm playing a Gruul deck.
Oh, I feel like you can do whatever you
with
want.
Like Simic sleeves or like Azurius sleeves.
It's just person to person.
Yeah.
Okay. Do whatever you want.
All right. Do you, when you're playing against someone with, say, Azurius sleeves,
you can't
think they're on Azurius?
Don't trust them.
Like if you kept a 7-card hand, that would be really good unless they're playing Azurius.
No.
Would this factor into your decision?
No.
Okay.
Trust no one.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about Mythic Championship Cleveland. Amateur Pro Greg once again qualified for this event. And we're going to start things off with draft because that's how Mythic Championship Cleveland's going to start off in the morning. Draft.
That's true. First thing in the morning, draft with 3 rounds of play with your draft deck. So if you're looking forward to watching some limited, you should tune in early in the morning. This draft format, I think, is a lot sweeter than the last one. Guilds of Ravnica was not a favorite of a lot of people because of the color imbalances. I think Ravnica Legion still has this problem a little bit, where the Esper colors really run away with the format. I think Azorius and Orzhov are clearly the 2 best decks, and Esper might be the 3rd best deck, where you get to combine the 2. But unlike Guilds of Ravnica, in Guilds of Ravnica, I saw very, very few playable green decks. And I think that was the biggest problem. Here, I'm saying that Esper are the best colors, but the other guilds are still playable.
Sometimes
and you can still put together competent Rakdos decks or competent Simic decks. And sometimes
these decks are sentient.
Sometimes so many people are fighting over the Esper cards that you're like the only person playing Simic or Rakdos, and then your deck's really good.
There are some Rakdos decks that have definitely just run me over.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And in Guilds of Ravnica, when this happened and you were the only Golgari drafter, your deck wasn't actually that good.
It was like, okay.
Hard disagree. There were, especially later on in the format, and we're talking about Arena, but this is even at the point right where they had shifted the bots a little bit away from some of like the Celestia and Golgari decks. There were Golgari decks that I easily 7-0'd or 7-1'd with. Because you could just get like the Rhizome Lurchers and stuff like that, you could make into giant creatures as early as turn 4. And the same thing, Toby Henke, who writes for Channel Fireball and kind of has a similar approach to things in the way kind of that Frank Carson does, where he's a mathematics person, he grinds a lot of numbers, but he tends to focus a little bit more on limited. He did basically a really long analysis of exactly how many people needed to be, like, if you were the only person drafting Celestia, could you win? And his answer was that, like, yes. Unfortunately, the answer didn't need to be you had to be the only person drafting Celestia, but I'm just saying that the numbers are there that say if you were the only person drafting Golgari or Celestia, you could end up with a great deck. But
so
it was not as good.
If you're the only one, you could end up with a good deck, is the hot take by Megan.
Yes. But I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. For me, it's I agreed at the beginning of Guilds that it certainly felt like there were stronger color pairs, but I felt like I hit a point, especially with Golgari, where I learned to draft the Golgari deck. And
nobody had any clue how to do it at the beginning.
Exactly. And the answer was that you didn't want actually the good kill spells or anything.
No.
You just wanted to draft every single Molder Hulk and Rhizome Lurcher and even erstwhile Trooper that you could. So that's my argument for that. Right. Sorry, that was a tangent. Now we're talking about Allegiance.
I think what you're going to see at the Mythic Championship, if I had to guess, is a lot of good Esper decks with a couple like really, really nice looking Simic and Rakdos decks at the top tables, because those people really correctly navigated their draft and found their way into those underrepresented guilds. Exactly what those look like. I think the Gruul decks really should be relying on Savage Smash, is a card that I've been really impressed with.
By the way, the Gruul deck is consistently rated as the least favorable deck to draft in this format. But I will say that when it wins, I think, from having a good curve.
Yep.
And as you said, Savage Smash.
Like
but if they
two
curve
drop
2,
into
3,
Savage
4,
Smash,
yeah.
into like Frenzied Airynx and other 4/4s and just big creatures with haste or +1/+1 counters, and I think is what you want to be doing. Simic feels really like tempo-y, I think. Like, I think Applied Biomancy, the bounce spell that can give something +1/+1, is your best card, and you want to be leveraging that as best you can. And then Rakdos, honestly, I don't have much experience with good Rakdos decks, but I know that they exist.
I'm going to say 2 drops, 2 drops, 2 drops, Rakdos Trumpeter, Rakdos Trumpeter, Rakdos Trumpeter.
Into Ill-Gotten Inheritance.
Oh, yeah. That one's nice.
Yeah.
Also, Blade Juggler is a messed up card.
It's so
That card's
good.
So good.
really
It's very good.
Splash for it.
Yeah, probably. Wow.
And
hadn't
those
even thought
Esper
about that.
decks.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what happens with gate decks at the Pro Tour, because the gate decks are busted, but everyone knows they're busted. And it's like people are going to be taking gate payoffs really highly to try to get into the gate decks. And so I think they're all going to disappear really quickly. And then I think it's going to be really hard to get like more than 1 or 2 payoffs for the gate deck. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it's a lot harder to draft at the Mythic Championship than, say, like on Arena.
How soon are you taking a gate? Are you starting off? You're like, I'm taking Gates Ablaze. I'm taking Gate Colossus.
I think if I start my draft with Gates Ablaze, Gatebreaker Ram, or Gate Colossus, I'm pretty happy about that start. I think that Gates are reasonably high picks, actually, especially the Esper colored ones, just because they like keep you. They're like a good card to have in your Esper colored deck, and then they also keep open the gate payoffs. I think they're all like reasonable, like mid-tier picks, like not above the best commons, but like above filler and even like playable level commons.
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
Do you put your Gate Colossus in your regular draft deck?
I would.
You've got 3 gates?
No.
4 gates.
Depends how bad my 23rd card is.
Oh, okay.
I think definitely like 5 gates is where I want to be, 5 or more.
Okay,
But
great. Wow. Excellent analysis, Greg.
yeah. So
you're going to be in Esper colors. Everybody watch out for that on his table.
yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people will be looking to be in Esper colors.
This has been my experience too. Exact same thing. Esper being the strongest color combos that you can draft. And I just want to say one more thing about Ill-Gotten Inheritance. I mean, people have been talking about this card for a while. It's like so good. How many is the top limit of what you would put in your deck?
It depends what your deck's trying to do. I think if you're an aggressive deck using Ill-Gotten Inheritance as your top end, I think you can play a bunch. I think if you're a controlling deck that's using Ill-Gotten Inheritance as your win condition, I think I don't want more than 1. Maybe 2.
2 at least. Come on.
2 if I like don't have other good win conditions. But I'm like, yeah. I don't know, because sometimes you're the control deck and you're like not doing much, and you play Ill-Gotten Inheritance on 4, and they play like a 4/4 for 4.
That's
like,
true.
And you just kind of lose. Where if you're
You
the
do have to be
aggro
doing
deck, like
other good things with your deck.
right, for sure. But like if you're the control deck and you're already behind early in the game, Ill-Gotten Inheritance doesn't catch you up. Now, if I was the control deck and I knew I was playing a grindy mirror, I would bring in infinite Ill-Gotten Inheritance into my deck. I'd play like 4 or 6.
I played a match the other day where my opponent had 3 in their deck and I had 2.
Oh, beautiful.
It was a
Wow.
mess.
Beautiful. The most I faced down is 3, but we've said on the show before that people have admitted Shaheen Sarani, I think, said he played 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you know if that was a more aggressive deck or a more controlling
Don't know.
deck?
Don't
Okay.
know.
Shaheen Sarani probably control.
Yeah.
Fair point. I should say, by the way, I feel like a little weird spouting all these opinions, like not all of which are mine. I've just had a lot of people talk to me about this format, and overall, I'm kind of synthesizing things
You're
that
the
friends
aggregate.
and teammates have told me. So I'm only like, I'm not as many drafts in as I'd like to be, but this is kind of what a lot of smart people have told me. And I think that's a big part of being at the Pro Tour. You don't have enough time to test draft and all the standard decks you want to try and all the matchups you want to try. So you have to test what you can and then talk around and see what other people have tested and try to glean information from them.
What do you think the best common is? Say you open your pack, you're sitting there at the Pro Tour, and the rare sucks, the uncommon suck. What do you want? What are you hoping for your common?
So in power level, it's Skewer the Critics. But red is maybe the worst color. So then it's either Grotesque Demise or honestly Blade Juggler.
Wow.
I think are the 2 best commons. And I'd like to say I'd take Grotesque Demise, but my experience with Blade Juggler has been so good, and every time someone talks about it, they talk about how amazing it is. And so I think, given the choice of those 3 commons, I would probably take the Blade Juggler.
Wow.
Awesome.
I mean, every time my opponent plays it, I'm like, that's bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. That's bad news for me.
Especially when they also play a Skewer the Critics and then a Blade Juggler, and then you're just like, I think I lose.
Yep.
I have lost this game.
This game has sailed away,
Yep.
single tear
So.
down the face.
But if you took Grotesque Demise or Skewer the Critics over Blade Juggler, I wouldn't like judge you. I wouldn't be like, you're wrong. You know, like that is a reasonable choice that you made. But I think I would take Blade Juggler as the top common.
Awesome. Let's talk standard.
Yeah.
Okay, so Greg, you've been on a long journey of testing decks for Mythic Championship Cleveland. What have you come up with?
I have. That is accurate. I plan. Last time I wasn't willing to say it on the podcast.
That's right.
I guess maybe I should.
It's up to you, Greg.
Okay.
You can make your own decision.
Let me tell you about the story of how I landed on my deck
Okay.
list, and then I think you'll be able to guess it. So last Pro Tour, I was like very busy in life. I had a lot of stuff going on and almost no time to prepare. And the Friday before the Pro Tour, I had this total like freak out at work where I was just like, what am I doing here at work? Like, I get to go to the Pro Tour and I haven't played like a single match of standard. Like, what am I doing? I need to practice and find a deck. And I was incredibly stressed out. And my good friend who we worked together, Matt Sickick Johnson, fellow pirate boy, like listened to me freaking out and was like, do you want to just like leave work early and go test? And I was like, yes, thank you, Matt. And we did, and it was very calming. And at that point, the only deck I had played, which I played on my stream, was Izzet Drakes. And I just decided this is going to be my deck. And my good friend, Andrew Ellenbogen, my personal Magic mentor, also decided to play Izzet Drakes. We were both going to play Izzet Drakes.
This is the Pro Tour Andrew Ellenbogen won, by the way.
It is the Pro Tour Andrew Ellenbogen won.
Not on Izzet Drakes.
Yes. So 2 days later, the day before we're supposed to submit deck lists, Andrew messages me and says, sorry, I'm not going to be playing Izzet Drakes anymore. I'm going to be playing Mono White. And I was really sad and betrayed. And I was like, what do I do? I just had this like freak out where I finally settled on Izzet Drakes and I was so happy, but now my friends are switching away from it. And I decided to stick with the deck that I played with, and I played Izzet Drakes. And so I played Izzet Drakes. All my friends played Mono White. And after round 1 of Standard at the Pro Tour, they announced the metagame breakdown. And from what it looked like it was very favorable for Drakes and very unfavorable for Mono White. And so Andrew turned to me after round 1. I won round 1. Andrew, Matt, and Max, all the people on White, all lost round 1. Wow. And they turned to me, they were like, Greg, you're a genius for staying on Izzet Drakes. And I was feeling great about myself. And they were all angry. They were sitting there like, why didn't we stick with Greg? Why didn't we play Izzet Drakes? Like we should have listened to Greg. I had a very respectable finish in this Pro Tour. I finished 9-7. I finished above average in Standard. I did more winning than losing with my Izzet Drakes deck. But if you follow the scene, you know the ending of the story, which is that Andrew Ellenbogen is no longer upset that he switched to Mono White because Andrew Ellenbogen took first place at this Pro Tour with his Mono White deck.
Yes. And Matt Sickick Johnson was
top 16 with the same white deck. And Max McVitie, I think, finished around where I did.
Yeah.
So all 3 of them had a very reasonable finish. And so here I am going into this next Pro Tour where my good friend Andrew just won. What am I going to do? Not play the deck that Andrew's going to play? Like, what a foolish mistake that would be. Like, he's going to tell me his up-to-date sideboarding guide, all his matchup notes. I'm going to be at the cutting edge of Andrew Ellenbogen's list.
So what we know is that you're playing the same list as Andrew Ellenbogen,
yes,
but we cannot say what it is.
Sure, but if you follow Andrew Ellenbogen on any social media, it will be very easy to figure out what archetype he's playing.
If he's saying what it is, then we can say what it is. Oh, I didn't realize he was very open about it. You know, some people are secretive, but some people are also
he'll
not.
Switch it at the last minute.
He did last time.
He did last time. Yeah,
let's just put it this way. From the first land played in the first game, you'll know what it is.
The other thing about my deck list. So if you've listened to me a lot, you know that I'm a diehard white player. White is my favorite color by far, and I love playing white cards. Okay, I've been to 2 Pro Tours. At the first one, I played green-black. At the second one, I played blue-red. And this is heartbreaking to me that I have yet to register basic planes at the Pro Tour. the most powerful card in all of Magic.
That is
no hyperbole, no bully, the best card in Magic, basic planes.
Greg, we've had a lot of hot takes on this show. That is probably literally the hottest one.
It is on fire right now.
Yes.
Yep.
You and Craig Wesco,
Building
BFFs for
is
life.
burning down from the heat of that take.
I mean, I'm on board. I love planes.
Yeah, planes is phenomenal.
I mean, I guess it can cast Cleansing Nova and Settle the Wreckage.
Yeah, look at the last Pro Tour. Look at how many planes were in the top 8 of the last Pro Tour. A lot more than any other basic land, that's for sure.
So if you were to register planes for this tournament, we're talking about the mono white deck, which we've gone away from red, basically, which was kind of a question at the last Pro Tour, using heroic reinforcements and whatnot, and experimental frenzy out of the board. So if we're adding blue potentially for Deputy of Detention in this list and giving yourself access to negates and stuff in the sideboard, do you believe that you should just play white and just have that stuff in the sideboard, or do you like the Deputy of Detention?
So I'm
asking for myself personally because I like this deck.
Notably, I think it's interesting why Frenzy has become less popular. So the big draw to red was not heroic reinforcements. It was experimental frenzy. And one of the reasons that this is no longer good is since Wilderness Reclamation is so popular, everyone has enchantment hate. And the control decks have enchantment hate, especially in the form of Mortify, which is a card they keep in anyway.
Yeah.
And so this is supposed to be your card to like stabilize against control decks. But if they have a bunch of enchantment hate, Experimental Frenzy is not going to do the job anymore. So that card's gotten a lot worse. And so instead, we want sideboard options like Negate. Because pretty much you can splash pretty freely with the mana base. It's not too hard to splash one color, as long as you're not being too greedy. And so rather than splashing Experimental Frenzies out of the board, I'm pretty into splashing Negates out of the board. I've played some with Deputy of Detention. I am not currently playing it in my list because the powers that be have told me that that it's not where we want to be right now.
I kind of agree with that just from playing with the deck on Arena.
I had it in my main deck for a while, and sometimes you don't draw your blue sources.
No,
and you want to
really
curve
painful.
out, and it's really painful. Where like the negates out of the board will be good even if you have to wait to cast them. And so you kind of get some more time to find your negate mana.
Megan, why don't you ask Greg about your pet deck and how that's going to be at the Pro Tour?
Oh yeah, Greg, turns. How's it gonna go?
I think turns is a very reasonable choice.
Do you know what? To be fair though, in best of 3, I have been playing Drakes.
Okay.
So
Drakes
and Greg
is so
and I
fun.
did a lot of testing actually on Saturday, where I played Drakes and you played Mono White. The conclusion being that Mono White is way better in game 1, strong advantage.
Yeah.
But that Drakes does have tools in games 2 and 3.
Absolutely.
So and then also we got to do a little bit of testing with Esper Control, a deck that surprisingly I have yet to play. I found myself really enjoying that.
That is not surprising.
No,
at all.
not surprising at all.
And no one is surprised.
Yeah.
I love the access to Thought Erasure. Just feels
Thought
Erasure
was
is so good.
really good.
Beautiful
because
card.
I think, I was playing this white deck that really needed to hit its payoffs, and you could just like take one of my payoffs, and without
especially
that,
on the
I couldn't
play
do well.
when it's just like, okay, on turn 2, and it's like you win 1 drop of a 2/1, and I'm like, I know that the best thing that you can do on turn 2 a lot of times is a Danto Vanguard, and it's just like, and I will take that away
And
from
thank you.
Thank you for that. A
Yeah.
good day.
Yeah.
But I do think coming into the Mythic Championship, I think there are a lot of good standard decks right now, and I think there's no clear king, which I think is awesome. I think it's going to make a really good watching experience. I think a lot of different people are going to make very different choices for this event. I think Mono Blue is really good, and I think it maybe used to be the best deck, but now people know about it and can metagame a little bit, and I think that it has a bit more of a target on it, and so I think Mono Blue won't quite be as oppressive as we might have thought. And then I think Mono White, I think Red is reasonable, I think Esper Control, I think Sultai, I think some sort of Simic Nexus deck. We've been seeing these like the Rakdos mid-range deck that won the last GP. I think there's a lot of good stuff out there, and I think it's going to be a really fun weekend with a lot of surprises from what you're going to see.
I'm excited to see how it shakes out for sure.
Yeah, all right, Greg, you got to do good so you can be in the feature match area and people, Good Luck High Five fans can see you.
You know that's the only reason that I want to do well. There's literally no other reason. Like, okay, if I do well enough, I'll like get to go to Mythic Championship London, but it sounds like I'm already going to go to London, and like, sure, it'd be nice to not have to pay for that ticket.
Yeah.
But no. I All I want is to be in the feature match area. That's my dream.
You know, most people like dread it. It's very nerve-wracking.
No, it's awesome.
All right.
You get to be in the spotlight.
Okay,
This is what I
well,
want.
I'm pulling from you from the news desk.
Thanks a
I'll
lot.
be coming out and checking on you and all the
Yeah.
pirate boys to see how you're
Yeah.
doing too. So good luck out there, man.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I can't wait to. It's always nice after rounds. I can like come by and find Meghan and Maria and like give them a little high five or like give a nice little smile and a nod if they're working, and you know maybe like try to stand in the
Classic
background
smile
and
and
like wave
nod.
and try to get you know if I don't do well enough to get onto coverage
You
the
can be in the
hard
background,
way,
wave.
I can
Jump
awkwardly
around.
wave the easy way. If you find me on coverage. In the background waving, you have to take a screenshot and tweet it at us.
All right, everyone. It is time for one of our favorite parts of any Pro Tour / now Mythic Championship. We are going to do a couple of fantasy leagues.
Yay!
First, we're going to have pick 10 cards, which will go by number of copies that make it into the top 8. And then our top 10 players, which is going to be by the number of points that they earn at this event.
So this is run by Hipsters of the Coast. They've got a great website tool called 1,000 Leagues.
Yes, 1,000 Leagues. Leagues spelled the British way. Leagues.
How is the American
1,000
way?
Leagues.
That's also how it's spelled
Wait,
here.
that's also the American way.
It does
You're not
seem
wrong.
very British,
Spelled
though.
the British and American way. Look, it's not British, okay? So
Great. I love it.
I could not be more excited for this. As a proud millennial, I'm a lover of all things fantasy leagues. I'm in
Yes.
an absurd number of fantasy leagues for an absurd number of things, including The Bachelor and a fantasy sumo wrestling league.
Wow.
So I'm here for this. This is my
Yes.
first time participating, and now I can add Mythic Championship Magic the Gathering to the list.
also, we bungled this a little bit last time, but this time, if you send us an email asking us to add you to either or both leagues, we can send you and we can add you to that. You'll get a little email and you can go and fill out your own pick 10.
Yeah, it got, with the last tool for the last Pro Tour, it got a little tricky with entering both, but you will be able to just
Yes.
kind of poke around a little bit. Just email us at glhfmagic@gmail.com and we'll enter you into the leagues. This time it will work.
Is it
we
GLHF
promise.
Magic?
Yeah.
Is that our email address?
Yeah.
I know what our email is.
But yeah, just you can play along with us, and then the winner of our leagues will get a prize.
Yeah.
So last time we couldn't enter people because it was my mistake. I messed it up. But I want to say that like Marshall won.
Rashad won the players, but that's
Well,
only because he somehow
he cheated.
picked 20.
You can only pick 10 of each, everybody.
Yes.
Even if it'll allow you to pick more,
I
only
think
pick
Paul
10.
might have won.
Maybe it was Paul.
I feel like it was.
Yeah. So they're probably all going to play with us too because they love fantasy leagues as much
Yes.
as the next person. But if they win the prize, we'll go on to the next listener who actually wins.
Absolutely.
So let's say who we picked and why. Do you want to start with cards or players?
Let's go with players first.
All right, players
Are we
first.
going to go one at a time, or are we going to go through our whole list?
We're
I
gonna
think
go-
our whole list.
Our whole
Okay.
list. And by the way, this is not a snake draft. We're just going to straight up pick 10. So if we pick them, you can also pick them.
Yes.
All right. So I've got Ben S at the top of my list because obviously this guy is amazing at Magic and he's playing Arena nonstop. I'm also editing a documentary on him. So he's got some great cats. I've got Reed Duke, who I always pick. And I've always like, this will be Reed Duke's tournament. And he gets close a lot of times, so maybe this will be the one. I've got Alexander Hayne on there, of course, who's
Yeah.
been playing almost nonstop in Arena, was rated #1 for a long time with Mono Blue Tempo.
He was not on my list. He didn't end up making it, but I very nearly picked him.
Yeah, I think he's a solid choice for
Yeah.
anybody. He's just a monster right now. Pascal Viren is another one of my choices because of
Nice.
his prowess at Limited. So I think he's going to crush these drafts. He's been crushing the sealed Grand Prix and draft Grand Prix that have been happening in the past couple of weeks. Corey Baumeister is one of my picks just because he's got a great attitude.
Yep.
And he's good at standard, so I'm going to put him on the list. Craig Wesco, because white is a popular deck, and he'll probably play it at this tournament unless
Yep.
there's something really strange has happened in the universe. And he's on our team Good Luck High Five. So
Yeah.
picking Craig Wesco. Eric Froelich is on my list because, I mean, he's never not a good pick.
Yep.
Wyatt Darby made my list because he's been streaming a heck of a lot and is doing really good at it. And he made top 8 of an SCG event recently. So Wyatt Darby makes my list, the champion of a recent Pro Tour. Paulo Vitor Damaderosa, because he's just always solid. And Matt Sicking Johnson, one of the Pirate Boys from our show, friend of the show, has been just crushing it lately. Top 16, as we mentioned earlier in the show, at one of the last Pro Tours. So there's my list.
Greg,
awesome.
Let's hear it.
All right. I might be a little biased here with my picks. I'm going to pick defending Pro Tour champion, personal friend Andrew Ellenbogen.
Okay, solid pick.
Great pick. Very great pick.
Like Maria, I'm going to pick the current clear favorite of the Pirate Boys, Matt Sickick Johnson, who's been crushing it recently and has a very good lifetime record at Pro Tours. I think we're going to get a return narrative for Rookie of the Year, Sam Eilenfeld.
Okay.
He's going to have a big showing here, and we're going to hear his name again. Fellow Team Tower member, of course, Daniel Weiser, I think is going to have a big tournament.
All right.
So you're not biased at all.
We got to pick him. Yep. Following up on the Team Tower, Matt Stanky, our Wisconsin representative on Team Tower. Feel like he's going to have a big tournament. He's been playing a lot recently.
What a name, kid.
Loving that. Max McVitie, close friend of Team Tower, and Andrew Ellenbogen. You know, they build decks together, and Andrew's been doing so well recently. I feel like now it's really Max's turn to shine.
All right.
Fellow friend of the podcast, Max Magnuson, will be at this Pro Tour. And it's unfair because Max McVitie and Max Magnuson are almost always considered the same person. So it's unfair that I had to use 2 draft picks on the 2 of them, but here we are.
We don't make the system, Greg.
Sorry,
we just
Greg.
adhere by the rules.
Fellow defending Pro Tour champion, Greg Orange.
Yeah.
That's right.
Another Minnesota Magic player. Feel like he's going to go far. Jackson Hicks, fellow Minnesota Magic player, returning to the Pro Tour. Feel like it's going to be a big one for him. And of course, as my 10th pick, there's this like Greg Michelle kid. It's like I think it might be Michael, but I have to pick myself. So I got a team full of local players. Don't call me a homeboy, but we're gonna go far.
All right, great choices.
All right, so here's mine. Kicking it off with Andrea Mengucci.
Oh, great choice.
Italy did fantastic at the World Magic Cup. I think that he's doing a lot of prep work for this tournament. He's always a great player. So that's my first one. John Rolfe just always does good at Magic.
Solid.
Even though I feel like people like. You know,
people don't know him as much.
People don't know him as much.
But they should, because he's super good.
He's just very good and like reliably puts up very good tournament results. Carlos Romao.
Oh, great choice.
Hall of Famer, a personal favorite player of mine.
Yeah.
I love watching him play. Corey Burkhart did really well at GP Memphis this past weekend.
Yep.
And I feel like he's one of those people when he's on top of his game, he consistently like rides that kind of part of the curve really well. So if he's doing well at one event, that usually translates into him doing well at the next. Noah Walker, another perpetual favorite of mine. I think that Noah is a stellar player. I think it's a matter of time only before we see him in a top 8 or honestly winning a Pro Tour. He's just fantastic player, works really hard. Luis Salvato, last year's player of the year.
Absolutely.
Great player. Eric Froelich, I also have on. He's just another player that it's just like, it doesn't matter what decks are strong at the moment. It's just like, I feel like he's always got a chance.
Yeah.
And also, you should check out he and Athena's new YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's super cute and super informative.
Yes.
Greg Orange, I also added on there. There's some solid control decks going around right now, and that's Greg Orange's wheelhouse. So, you know what? Teferi is an incredible control Magic card, and I believe that Greg Orange
will play
is the person to harness the true power of Teferi. I always like to make sure that I'm looking at like region, you know, making sure I hit someone from every region.
Me too.
So Shodia, obviously. Shodi Yasuoka's a pick of mine. Again, he also, I feel like, is control decks are very much in his wheelhouse, and there's some strong control, or potentially the combo decks with the Nexus of Fate.
Yeah.
And then I also added Pirate Boy Matt Sicking Johnson, current favorite Pirate Boy, obviously.
Whatever, man.
Sorry, Greg.
All 3 of our lists.
I just want you both to know that when you both inevitably qualify for the Mythic Championship, I'm going to draft both of you. And therefore, I feel like, you know, I think the fact that I'm only on 1 out of 3 teams is offensive.
Do you know what, Greg? I felt really bad.
I mean, obviously you're supposed to pick Matt over me, but like you could pick us both.
You're right.
We
Maria
could.
and I are
We could have.
cold-hearted.
We're spikes after all.
We are.
But yeah, solid list, all three. I love your regional picks. You can choose however you want with your 10 players. Let's
All
go
right.
to cards. All right, so picking 10 cards, copies in the top 8. All right, I've got Nexus of Fate. Obviously, I'm sure our list will be fairly similar. Adanto Vanguard, which is one of my favorite cards in Standard right now. It's going to make my list. Mortify, I feel like, has a home potentially in a couple of decks. Not only Control, but also if there's an Esper midrange or a Mardiva's deck that makes the top 8, it could be in there. Negate, which I think will be very important for a lot of decks out there. Cough, cough, Nexus, cough. History of Benalia, I'm going to put on there as a nod to the white decks. Hydroid Crassus, the card's just too stinking good, and there'll probably be a few decks in the top 8 that are Sultai. Jade Light Ranger, nod to that deck as well. I picked Teferi for Control because I guess I've gotta. Hero of Precinct 1 is kind of my like outside pick that I want to see do well at this tournament. Will he? Probably not, but I'm putting him on my list. And Spell Pierce, my favorite and best card in Standard that I've been on Twitter
My
talking
goodness,
about.
Maria.
Yeah, I'm making the case. Spell Pierce, I think it's the best.
Wow. All right, Greg.
All right, my first pick is Pteramander. I think we're going to see a bunch of copies of that one. History of Benalia, I also chose. Llanowar Elves. I think we're going to see some Llanowar Elves. I put Shock in my list. I also picked Teferi. Hydroid Crisis, Nexus of Fate, I also had. I chose to go with Opt instead of Spell Pierce.
Okay, yeah.
But I wanted to opt for that one. And then my last two have to be a lean towards mono white. So I picked Legion's Landing and Dauntless Bodyguard.
Great choice.
As my final two options.
Opt is probably a better choice.
All right. I also have Adanto Vanguard, rounding it out. It's just such a solid pick. Then I have Kaya's Wrath.
Ooh, nice.
You know, I just love a good Wrath, and I really want those control decks that are running Wraths to do well. Gitu Lava Runner as sort of a nod to people who are showing up and playing red. Shock, which I think goes in.
We should have picked Light Up the Stage, Greg.
I picked Shock.
Yeah, I picked Shock because so I'm about to get into my picks that are more ones that feel like covering my bases. They go in a lot of decks, right?
That's
Shock
smart.
goes in Drakes and it goes in mono red.
Yep.
I also have Chart a Course because it goes in Drakes and it goes in that mono blue deck.
Yeah, Chart a Course.
And I love Chart a Course. Same with Chemister's Insight.
Oh, dang it.
It goes in a couple of different decks.
I regret everything.
Terramander, couple of different decks. Vraska's Contempt.
Yep.
Control decks run it, but also all of those mid-range decks that have black in them are running it. Jade Light Ranger, and of course, all of our friend Teferi.
Teferi.
Yeah,
Teferi, may he be a friend to us all.
So once again, if you want to play in either or both of these leagues, send us an email at glhfmagic@gmail.com and just say, add me to the people or the cards or both.
Yes, and once you've done that, you can also tweet at us with the hashtag #MyLeagueList.
Ooh, nice.
There you go, MyLeagueList, and give us your list of either 10 cards or 10 players.
By the way,
so
you
we can
have
see
to
it.
email us before the tournament actually starts.
Yes, obviously.
Some people last time emailed after the tournament started asking get in.
No.
But no, you cannot.
No.
I think the cutoff is that Friday or something like that.
We'll say Thursday night, right?
We have to submit our deck lists by Wednesday.
Okay.
So
But we'll give everyone
We'll
until
give it
Thursday.
Thursday evening will be the cutoff, whatever that means for you. So Friday morning, I'm gonna call it. So, so yeah, good luck everybody out there. I think it's a super fun way to interact with and watch the Pro Tour. Extra incentive to track how everybody and all the cards are doing. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
If you want to check out the Pro Tour, you can check it out on twitch.tv/magic starting on Friday, going all the way through Sunday in the top 8, where we see Greg at the feature match tables.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Or if you want to follow me at the Pro Tour, I'll be tweeting every round on Twitter. And if you've been following me for a long time, I just changed my Twitter handle. I've been Magic Michael P for a long time. Big fan of that handle, but a lot of people have said it's confusing.
It was quite bad.
Magic
Very bad.
Michael P is gone, and I'm sad to say it, but you can now find me at Twitter at NeverBoley. That's never BOLE, which is short for my catchphrase "No bully," as
Which
in
is
no
short for
hyperbole.
no hyperbole.
Yeah, so when it's like when I say things exciting like Plains is the best card in Magic, you can follow it up with a nice "No bully" to make it clear that I'm not being hyperbolic. Because I'm someone who tends to get very excited and like make extreme statements.
Find Greg
Same.
at Never Bully.
Never Bully, BOLE.
All
Great.
right.
Twitter.
I'll definitely be following that. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode of Good Luck High Five. Big thanks again to Amateur Pro Greg for coming on and giving us the DL before the MC.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm always happy to be on the show.
I want to say something that I've been thinking about almost since the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
When we were talking about War of the Spark. It wasn't like Hogwarts because they don't need a candelabra to hold their candles.
You mean a candelier?
They do not need a candelier to hold their candles. They just float.
That's true.
I've been thinking about that literally this entire time.
You would think on the world of Ravnica, there's like enough magic going around that their candles could float too, though.
No,
What are we
but
doing
not
with
so.
this candelier?
Not so. That's
No,
the way it is.
not.
No.
Is that what happened? Nicol Bolas showed up and suddenly
They
like the
need
candles started
candeliers.
falling? They needed a candelier?
Anyway, what we're saying is thanks for watching and listening. Of course, MC coming up this weekend. If you want to find all of our stuff, everything is on our website at goodluckhighfive.com. We've got a Facebook page /GLHF Magic. You can also join the group, which is much better for getting updates from us. So if you're a Facebook user and you actually want to see the content we post, we highly suggest joining the group, which you can find straight from our Facebook page. On Twitter, we're at GLHF Magic. Same thing on Insta. And of course, yeah, we've got that Board Games YouTube channel, our
And
Patreon,
our YouTube channel.
our YouTube channel. We've got so many different stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is why we ask for your support, because we're doing so much stuff and we want you to be able to enjoy it and to continue to enjoy it. So Patreon Pledge Drive month goes through the end of the month. Your chance of getting those tokens for free goes through the end of the month. So head on over to patreon.com/GLHF Magic. It means so much to us, especially right now when we could use the financial support. So once again, thank you to everybody. And, see you in Cleveland.